Well, first of all, we want to say thank you to all the sponsors because we need them to make this party, this software party. And thank you to all the staff and the volunteers that are having all this work. And today we want to talk about a team. A team, Murdoch, Aníbal, yeah? We want to talk about movies, no?
Of course.
Yeah?
We've been seen for them a few years already.
Then we are us. I am Ana Carmona. I work today in Adevinta. We are not hiring now. And I am senior engineer manager of a platform team. It's like tech enablers. We are improving the experience. And I've been working in the past maybe 20 years as a senior engineer developer. But now I don't want to code more. And you?
I can talk a little bit. Yeah. So, my name is Álvaro. Bear with me because today I have almost no voice. I currently work in Voxel. I just started 3 weeks ago as director of platform, so also platform work. Trying to help as much as possible to bridge the gap in between what developers need and what we can provide to simplify their lives. You can see our QR here. I've been developer like Anna for quite a long time, so just gone through a lot of teams, have a lot of experience around. So here we want to talk a little bit about what has made great teams that we've been able to work with.
Well, on these QRs, you can say hello us. Then, what is an A team? For us, an A team is a high-performance team. What do you think? What is an A team? Anybody knows what is a high-performance team? Don't be shy. You can raise your hand and talk. Whisper, please, whisper hand. Manel.
There was a...
For example, a team that is delivering value constantly and frequently.
Okay. Another?
A team that reaches their goals.
Okay.
Swiftly.
Cool.
A team that has a great impact in the company.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
okay.
Nowadays, before we used to use Google, nowadays we use ChatGPT, so we actually asked ChatGPT what a high-performance team was, and actually ChatGPT came with the next thing. It's a software team that is a cohesive group that consistently deliver value. So a lot of things that you've already said through collaboration, communication, and innovation. So I think that there's a few words there that are very important, like they're a group that is actually cohesive, but without values being delivered, we are not actually bringing anything to the company. But there's also some other things that are important for that team to work together.
Yeah, in this presentation, we want to focus in product teams. Okay, this is so important. Then, what makes an A team? An A team. For us, an A team has some skills. What do you think that makes an A team? The soft skills? Raise your hand about if you think that the soft skills are the most important thing in a high-performance team. Okay. What do you think about how many people think that hard skills are the best key of a high-performance team? Nobody? Oh, so cool. I love you. For us, there are a lot of things that that involves that we have a high-performance team. Not it's only about soft and hard. that are so important. It's about any shape. In a product team, we need, for example, developers that are taking care about back-end, front-end, but they need to collaborate each other. Then we need people that have T-shapes or P-shapes, M-shapes, whatever shapes, that helps all the team. We need people in the team that has the ability of learn, because all the time we need to improve, we need to learn, we need to then the learnability, the ChatGPT says this word is so cool. We think that is one of the most important skills on a high-performance team. And for me and for Álvaro, the pragmatism, it's a very important skill. Why?
Because if you're not pragmatic, then you're going to spend too much time thinking and not actually delivering, not being able to actually bring the value that you want to bring. So pragmatism, like here we are on the crafters, is bringing the value with the minimum effort possible. You'll hear about this probably in
For
more
example,
other conferences.
using
TDD.
no code, low code, not using all the time hexagonal architecture or something similar. But we are not talking about seniority. Why? Because seniority is not the best or the key skill on a high-performance team. It's the solid base. We need people that could be, we have a high-performance team that is junior, but has a great solid base. They know about thank you. Object-oriented programming, developing, and they are improving, and they have a good products.
That was fast. So now we move from skills that are actually personal things to how are we in a squad. Now a squad is a group of people that actually collaborate together. What do we think it's actually important to generate a good A team here? First of all, we have people that are leaders on those teams. We care about the idea of servant leaders because servant leaders allow people to actually take the decisions, the people that are actually the experts, and the team actually comes together. Leaders are not actually people that take decisions by themselves and help actually each other. We have the concept about also having the clear responsibilities inside the team, so who does what and why, but also not having silos like Anna was saying before about the T-shape, V-shape, or whatever, because normally what happens in a team that has a lot of silos, you can have people on the front end that doesn't care what happens on the back end, and you have a lot of handovers, so you want to break those silos with a star, and I'll leave this for Anna later.
You break silos between teams, because you need some kind of communication between these teams, and these silo teams that was the old-fashioned model are not working, are not the best effort to have high-performance teams today.
But even inside a team, then if we break those silos, then that's why we put this in a big letter. What you end up having is hats. So it's not so much I am the back end, I am the front end, it's we are the people that can bring more value or that has the expertise, but we're going to share it and we can collaborate each other. In a company right now, there could be people that are actually doing the infrastructure. What happens if they leave on vacation? Can we deploy a new service? Yes or no? No. So then we all need to have that shared knowledge, and that's why it's important to think about hats and not so much about roles. And at the end, we need to be accountable of the work that we're doing. Somebody needs to not just be responsible of doing stuff, but needs to be making sure that things actually happen inside the team.
Then when we are working, talking about Thrive, first of all, we have to think on Real Agile. What is Real Agile? It's not a Scrum. It's not Kanban. It's about, we have today a fast market. What is this? In years ago, we have some kinds of market that was so static, but today all the markets are changing all the time. We need teams that applies Real Agile, and the specifications have to change. Oh no, yes, have to change because we need to sell. We need to have more money in the pocket. Then we need to be adaptable, adaptability. We need that adaptability because the team needs to change, needs to be
Reliable.
Thank you. I'm a bit nervous. Then we have a team that can be changed with the new environments that every day are changing. But on the other hand, we have the Conway's law. What about the Conway's law? You can have teams that are not aligned with the type of organization you have. If your organization has a type of communication, a type of domain separation, you cannot break this type because it's so crazy.
Does everybody knows Conway's law here? Somebody doesn't know Conway's law?
Raise your hand if you don't know.
So I can explain. So Conway's law is the idea that how you organize people in your systems will actually replicate each other. So your ways of communication will replicate on how you design, on how even your architecture actually looks.
For example, if your marketing team and your, I don't know, support team have to work together, you cannot think on systems separated because the boundaries of the two teams needs to be so close. Okay? And no one size fits all. Why? Because, for example, I have a platform team. A platform team don't fit on a T-shape exactly because they are so experts in backend, they are so experts in frontend, but they don't work frontend in backend because they are experts in enablement of these
other groups, and they help others. Yeah. So.
Or for example, Almudena, it's one of you cannot think that all the high performance team are the same, and you have to apply the same rules.
So the idea is, whatever we've said before, take it with a pinch of salt and always adapt.
And it's mainly for product teams.
So that's great. Now we've gone from a person to a team to a group, but what makes an environment? So where do we want to actually work? To be a high-performance team, you actually need to be able to make mistakes, to be on a place where you can actually work without judgment in general. Because if not, you can actually not learn, you can actually... Sorry. Gracias. If you're scared of your day-to-day work, you're not going to be able to deliver. So you need a place where you're not being judged, where mistakes can be made, and that will help you actually bring the best of yourself. But also, if other people can participate, you will be also helping them bring the best of themselves. If you have a safe space itself, then people can actually grow. But you don't grow from a group of people that is actually cohesive or actually is looking at the same things in the same way. That's why the word diversity is actually really important on our teams. And when we talk about diversity, it's not only gender diversity, it's about all mental models, mental ways of thinking. Gender is also one, race, ethnicity, everything is actually diverse. And if you are only a group of people that think the same way, you're not going to actually bring nothing new to the table.
Just as the A team. They are so
Semi-diverse.
diversity. Well, there are all men, but...
Yeah, exactly. Well, but
Okay, sorry.
But at the end, what you want to do is to have a safe space where people actually feel some belonging. That's why it's important to have a tribe feeling. Go for it.
So, how to become an A team? Well, is it so complicated or not? I think no. Some of us knows the scout mindset because I am all the people that the person that is all the time talking about the scout mindset. Okay, what is the scout mindset? Somebody knows? Don't know about it? No. When the scout mindset for a team is the first of the motto, proud of their beliefs and puts them into practice. If your team thinks on testing, thinks on quality, thinks on some points of to be the well, things on quality at last, you have to put in practice. All the team has to be in the same line to have the same point of quarter. Okay, are in solidarity with their community. You are not coding for yourself. You are coding for your body or the people that will enter on your group, on your team, could be 1 year in the future.
And they need to understand the same like you understand at that point.
And our duty begins at home. Please, your code is not perfect. You have to improve all the time and refactor and have try to have the best product all the time. And well, at last, be your best.
Cool. So, also, we've talked about empathy, we've talked about having a cohesive team. So how do we actually get there? How do we get to know each other, to actually know that there's a person behind that other member of the team? If not, we will continue thinking about the idea of resources that is so awful and come from before. So then we want cohesion inside the team, to actually have empathy, to understand each other, to belong to a group. And how can we do this? We want to explain some exercises that can help you achieve that. Can you pass the next one? Oops. Raise your hand if you ever have done an exercise of moving motivators. Cool? Cool. Well, a few people have done it. The idea is to understand the moving motivators is a management 3.0 exercise. You can find it online. The idea is that everybody will define what motivates them. Some people are motivated by the liberty of doing things. Some other people might be looking for acceptance on the team. So different people have different motivation, and you up front don't know them, and will probably be very different to yourself.
And you need this to understand what type of team you have. For example, you need that not all the team is looking for acceptation. You need diversity inside the team.
Other thing that at least has worked quite well for me is doing personal presentations. How many times have you started on a team and actually you get to just start working, but you know that you don't know the people behind them? Do they like to go walking on the mountain over the weekends? Do you have something in common? Maybe just doing a personal presentation of where you come from, what are your preferences and things like that will help you find common things together.
And it's important, for example, if you have children and you have a bad day, to understand and have some empathy with your body.
Like, for example, I don't sleep at all nowadays. I have a children from that is 6 months.
It's sick all the time.
Yeah, you can see me. So I think that this connects very well with do team buildings. Just meet people outside of work, even if it's just for a coffee and a conversation.
Or a beer in a rooftop.
Throwing axes is a very cathartic thing to do, so there's a place here in Barcelona for that. Last but not least, like we were saying, people are actually different, so understand each other. I'm not going to say hundreds, but there's a lot of platforms out there that can help you. Start seeing those different. There's a website that is called 16 Personalities. That might be a first step to actually start seeing a little bit of other people.
Yeah, this is a tool. It's not the Bible.
Exactly.
But for example, yesterday we were talking about the diversity about female and male, but we need to understand another diversities and this impact on the team. To understand our difference is so important. To, for example, understand how to communicate with him. For example, if he's not safe talking about his feelings, I need to understand this, and I have to respect this.
Agree. If you want to know more about neurodivergence, Anna has a colleague.
No, Ingrid Astiz. Ingrid Astiz is your woman.
Astiz. You should listen to her, and she's so good. She has some, I think there's some videos in YouTube, some podcasts, so please look at her. You will learn a lot.
Then, I think all of you need to understand what is a team agreement. But we have two kinds of team agreements, the internal with the team and the external with stakeholders and other teams. On the internal?
Yeah. So the internal agreements are very important because it's how you work together. Make sure these are just some things that we think are important, but different teams might have different things that they care that are important, and you need to get to those agreements. Write them down. Also because, Anna, you've experienced it also, when teams change, those agreements need to be rewritten. Don't take them as a Bible from beginning to end.
Every time that team changes, you have to refine and review the agreements. I think that all of you have this kind of exercise that, okay, we have the daily at 9, we have the retrospective once a month, whatever. But we have to show you some other kinds of exercises to make these team agreements.
So I just wanted to come here a little bit towards the...
I need to go?
No, you don't need to go. So just to explain a few of these exercises that we think that are good. So like, for example, what are the roles and responsibilities on your teams? Have you ever talked about it? So like, for example, what we've done in some places is who takes care about quality? Who takes care about coding? Stakeholders, whatever.
For example.
So, the thing is, most people on the team can feel responsible about something. Or, hey, this can help you start a conversation about design. Does your team want to take care about design? Or it's just the UX that you want to have on the corner just working and sending you later on some mock-ups? I think that with this kind of thing where you actually say who's responsible, who's accountable. Do you know the difference between responsibility and accountability? Cool. More or less. Well, responsible is you are executing. Accountable is you need to make sure it actually happens. You might not even execute, but you
own and know.
Great. So roles and responsibilities will help you define what roles you actually think they are and who actually execute and who actually take responsibility itself. it's a good way of actually starting that communication.
For example, if you have a product team, who is the responsibility of the product? You have a product manager, or the team has the responsibility, or the product manager is the responsible, and the team is only accountable. These are some agreements that has to be so clear to understand how to make the product.
Agree.
The communication setup.
Yeah, so for
Yeah.
this is, yeah. So do all of you like to communicate at the same times, morning, afternoons? Do all of you like to, for example, be told repeatedly things or just once? Do you know those things about the rest of your team? And I think that this is something that is very important to actually talk about it on the team. Some people like to be repeated things, some people actually don't. So this is an exercise that you can actually do about all these kind of things like async communication, repeat, and actually have everybody put a dot where they think they are in the spectrum. This will help you actually define those communication with those people and also make them feel more comfortable with how you communicate with them. And who hasn't done a team calendar to know when people are on vacation, when they are going to be off? I think that there's very important to be in sync.
Yes, the agreement, for example, if you will be off because you have to a doctor appointment, just put in that team calendar. No, not is just to share your private life. It's just to share with your team that you will be out of office. Okay, and then on the other hand, we have the external agreements. What is the external agreements? The agreements with other teams or stakeholders. For example, how many people has the same problem as me that all the people send private message? All the people, I have a question, all the people send private message. Then with my team, we were working on a third-party interfacing. How the people has to request help for us, or questions, or whatever. For example, if they have to put in a Slack, or put via email, or only
ticket.
one person.
Or a ticket, or whatever.
Or a ticket, or just a fast meet, I don't know. But it's important to be clear with your stakeholders, because are your clients, with your partners of other teams, because you have to work with them. You have the team agreements with your team, but they are your partners too.
Great, now we know how to become an A-team. How do we know we are an A-team, actually?
We can know that we have an A-team.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So this is a phrase I really enjoy. So Peter Drucker say, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So if you want to have an A-team, you need to be able to measure to actually know if you're improving.
Do you have any measure to understand how is your team, the improvement of your team, the level of your team? Don't be shy. You can talk. What metrics? Dora. Okay.
Yeah, agree. So one of the ways are actually, a way of measuring is actually quantitative. Dora is a way of quantitative measuring the performance of how many bugs there are, how many builds go to production without issues, how fast you deploy. So Dora is actually a good metric to actually have. But this only shows you about the performance of how do you go to production. There are other things like the NPS, Net Promoting Score. I don't know if you do it on your teams, but that also helps you know the health of the team, how happy they are and things like that. It's also important to measure those kind of things. If we go back to product, there are SLAs, SLOs, and you have on a product level OKRs and also other different APIs. And we have our awesome metric.
Beloved.
here.
Then you have on the other side the qualitative metrics about, for example, you can use the continuous feedback or the feedback 360. Continuous feedback. For example, I use a lot of tools like just coffees, just one-on-ones with another people of other teams to understand how is working my team. For example, a team lead of another team that is working with my team. The one-on-ones of my own team to understand how they are working with the other members of the team. Or, for example, I bring my team, I say to my team that do a skip level. They can make any meetups, any meet with my boss, and it's okay. And I say to my boss, how do you feel my team? Yes, it's okay. This is not objective, but give me a lot of information about the temperature. And feedback 3060, that I learned this from Manel, I think. Yes. This is a good tool to do once a year, more or less. It's because it's so large, so long, and you ask some people that are working of each member of your team how they feel or how they are working with them. It's a direct feedback that you request to understand how your people are working, and well, you can use for the to understand if they are level up or not. Okay. Then, how to become a real A team, because there are a lot of tools, a set of tools, a set of characteristics, but there are the only thing that we have to do all the time, continuous improvement. We are all the time talking about continuous improvement of the coding, but we are not talking about continuous improvement of the teams. And we need to work a lot with the teams to have high performance teams that bring us the best outcome. How? For example, one-on-ones. I said in the past. The one-on-ones, it's, for example, to understand what do you need, how can I help you, how can I help to improve yourself. Do you need a course? Do you need a training? Do you need a mentor? Okay, let's work on it. Team buildings are so important to have this cohesion, and you cannot think, well, once a year and that's all. No, you have to work on this cohesion all the time. If you have a distributed team around the world, it's so complicated. Sorry, you need a lot of money and a lot of troubles.
But you can do it also on your day-to-day, doing games online. It's not only about going out and taking a beer. Yeah.
You can use Gather, for example. Gather is a pretty tool to have sometimes some team buildings, just racing F1 cars. Retrospectives, but it's not about only the retrospective meeting that we know as Agile. It's about a lot of kinds of retrospective. For example, you need some retrospectives talking about the feelings of the team, or a big problem, a little problem with another team.
Yeah, so for example, one specific retrospective that comes to my mind is the team health check from Spotify, that you can actually see on the big spaces of the team what's your status, what the team feels that can be improved, what actually works, what doesn't work, and actually continue doing it over a year or something like that to see how it evolves.
Yeah, for example, another tool I use in so many companies now, the Gartic phone. The Gartic phone is a pretty tool just to have a fun time, but to understand some feelings about, for example, the company, because you can make a song about the company, and then you can see if the people is angry or not, and if they have some complaints about the company or the team or you. Okay. Feedback culture. I can explain a lot of tools. For example, the most common used, I think it's Office Vibe. In Adevinta, we use Picon, and it's so cool. And
Boxer,
Slack,
we use
the Slack
Nailed
bots. What?
Nailed it, we use. for
Nailed
example.
it. But you can don't try to you can don't hope, no, don't esperar. No esperes. Don't expect that your team has a feedback culture if you are not doing the same. Then it's important to understand how they need the feedback. For example, if they need public feedback or not, private feedback, positive or constructive. It's not the key. And you are the first person, if you are leading a team, that you have to provide a continuous feedback.
And ask for feedback. If you want people to ask feedback to others, you need to be the first one. You need to be the leader that actually, you need to actually expect the same.
And we want to explain some abuela cebolleta stories. For example, the first case, it's about a team that didn't talk each other because one manager that was leading this team was thinking on silos. Then what happened? The people didn't be in the same level of seniority. They was all the time arguing each other. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. The change was taking out this manager and bring this team to talk with each other and start making some kind of collaborative work as a pairing or mock programming. The quality of the product increases a lot, and the quantity of faults, of errors, decreases. And could be was in 3-4 months. Was so crazy.
So, what do you think you've learned from that experience? I'm going to interview you. What do you think you learned from that experience? How did they change that manager?
How did they change the manager, right? Yeah. Well, my learning from this is we cannot continue leading or thinking on teams as we thought in the past. We don't have these tables with, I don't know how to say in Spanish or in English, the capsulitas,
boxes.
The boxes, and we have some dynamic teams, and we need to achieve that these teams talk and improve themselves, each other.
Yeah, I think also that as managers, as managers, we need to also learn any new ways that come over the way. We cannot stay behind, because the problem will be people that is just probably hurting their teams. And there needs to also be a way of either give this feedback, or if it's not a safe environment like we say before, how do we make sure that this gets communicated? Things sometimes need to change. Even people need to change sometimes.
Do you have another? I have more stories, but well, I can continue speaking. Another story is about a team with backends and frontends that don't talk each other. Then what happened? Backends doing something, frontends doing the same. Okay, it's not fair. The solution was just only put them in the same daily. Then the work was fine, and they start working together on doing the same thing, and not just two equal products. Anyone has another story as mine? No? Yes, Sandra, you have some stories.
So for me, one team that I work with not so long ago, I think we have an issue of cohesion in general. We were not a group of people that were actually collaborating. Sorry. Everybody was, wow. Everybody was actually taking decisions without taking care of each other. POs were bringing deadlines. The team didn't actually have any way to actually decide what to do and when. Everybody was complaining about we don't have way to improve our stuff. At the same time, PMs were blaming that the new members were not up to speed fast enough. So you can see that there's a lot of issues here. How do you solve it? We didn't solve it at that point. I was there and decided to leave. Sometimes there's things that are complex that either you break them completely and start something new with a different culture, with a different way of thinking, because not everything can be fixed continuously. Some things need a big reset sometimes. That's what I learned. I didn't have the time to actually reset that, or the will at that point.
I think we can finish. Well, at last, just only to finish, well, what are you doing? Little Mermaid. At last, I think that the key point is work on the teams. Is work all the time of the teams, because we are thinking all the time to work on code, to work on product, and the teams, wherever, are like flowers, no? They are there.
They will grow.
They will grow alone. No, they don't grow alone. We need to help them to grow. Okay? And for me, it's fine.
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas.
I love the detail of inserting a picture from 2 hours ago. It's like a weird time travel film thing. And my question is, have you seen that there is a minimum size of the team or a maximum size of the team for these ideas to work?
Well, there's a number called the Dunbar number that actually explains how many people you can have that are near or that care about each other. I think that I need to search for 10? 10, 12
maximum.
was the Dunbar numbers of people, that you actually can care about each other. So when we talk about cohesion, knowing each other, things like that, that's probably the size. Also, that's why offices of a company shouldn't grow over 150 people, because over 150 people, you're not able to relate or remember those people.
And for me, the minimum is 1, like Almudena. Almudena is 1 in one team, and he has a super cool cohesion. But she has to talk a lot with other teams. Then she has to work with this communication, with for the values we taught.
Thank you.
Other one? Anybody? Don't be shy.
You talk about to be part of a team, it should be a diversity of any shape, but you are implying, or what I understand is to a member to be part of this high team should have expertise in something, or really, because if it's
No.
a shape,
Yeah.
there's some expertise there.
All the people has one expertise at last.
At least it's not that they are experts, but they have normally people have different interests. So normally people are more interested in one thing or the other and tend to grow more. But that depth helps the other people actually grow their depths on that same direction. So that's why you also need to hire, when you hire people with expertise, I'm not talking about probably juniors or people that are starting their career, you expect to feel what your team is missing so the other people can actually grow on there. I don't know if you think about that.
Oh,
Like-
my first one was so short.
Sorry.
What if there's a member in the team that
A friend of mine happened.
that doesn't agree with the definition that the rest of the team have of a team? Like, I don't know, for me this is not high performance because I don't know, take so much, you just gather and I don't see the point, just go on code.
Well, you can. Team agreements, yes, no. You have the team agreements to work this. Could be gather is not the tool because all the team has to be in the same page.
But if that person isn't, like you do the internal team agreements, you have this cool Notion page and it's well defined, but doesn't fit there.
So for me, it's cohesion. If you have a person that wants to be outside of the group or outside of the tribe, you have a problem, so you need to either bring them or see if it makes sense.
The manager has to work 3 times more, or could be doesn't have the cultural fit. It's on the line that you can help him, or could be no. Could be it's not the team, the tribe, or the company for him.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we're scared about the idea of it's not the correct place, or to say a person is not in the correct place. But that's also something that managers need to handle at some point. We want to help everybody, but there's some people that don't want to be helped also.
We cannot save all the people like Jack. Poor Jack. Poor Jack.
But Jack could be saved.
yeah, I know. You have to think that you can try to win the battle, but could be it's not your job. Could be people has to be involved. Could be if you think that these people can fit on your team, then work it on it. Could be there are a lot of tools. Could be it's not Notion, and could be it's I don't know this Canva or Miro. But if these people is all the time arguing about and doing no, the manager has to do the work about why you are saying all the time no. What do you need? Give me a reason to understand you. If you don't have reasons, could be it's not your side.
I was wondering, for teams here, we at the council, we work for projects and then we change teams. So we have changes in that sense. And so I was wondering how you adapt the things you talked about in the things that are changing every 6 months, every year. If you have any recommendations.
A lot of team building, a lot of team agreements working, a lot of cohesion working.
A common culture also.
Yes, it's a common culture. I'm not aligned with this type of culture because you need a team that with a safety culture, and if you are all the time change this team, could be you cannot have this safety space. You have to work a lot on create this safety space, and each 6 months, a lot of work.